I always thought I had the perfect life, a job, a cozy apartment, and, most importantly, a loving wife, Emily. We'd been together for over 5 years, and although routine was slowly beginning to enter our lives, I tried to keep the romance alive. I made sure to plan date nights, surprised her with little gifts, and was always attentive. However, as it sometimes happens, the unexpected was waiting for me around the corner, ready to destroy the comfortable routine I had built. Our neighbor across the street, a young woman named Jessica, had just moved into our house. At first, I didn't pay much attention to her. She seemed like just another new face in our neighborhood. But gradually, we began to meet more often, almost casually. Jessica was always losing her keys or forgetting her groceries in the elevator. One day, I helped her carry a heavy suitcase when she returned from vacation. I noticed her smile warmly at me, and we struck up a friendly conversation as we walked to her door. That was when I first felt a spark of something I couldn't define. Jessica always knew how to lift my spirits, and her laughter was infectious. She had a carefree energy that I found refreshing. I couldn't help but notice her flirting with me, and in turn, I began to feel more confident. I began to feel that there was more between us than just chatting and laughing. The little moments, the touch on my arm, the way her eyes lingered on me began to accumulate. One night, when Emily was late for work, I was home alone. Jessica, as usual, decided to cheer me up and rang the doorbell. I opened it, and she said that she had ordered a pizza and was inviting me over. I hesitated for a moment, but then happily agreed since my wife had called and said she would be late. It all seemed innocent enough, just two neighbors sharing a meal. We sat on the couch, ate pizza, and talked about everything from her recent move to her future plans. She told me about her difficulties at her new job, and I listened intently. There was something vulnerable about her that drew me in. I noticed the way Jessica looked at me with nervousness and something else, something deeper. At one point, she couldn't hold back any longer, wrapped her arms around me, and kissed me. I was shocked for a moment, but I didn't pull away. I found myself responding to her kiss, and all the boundaries I thought I had collapsed in an instant. We spent the entire evening together that night, and every moment was filled with excitement and passion. I knew it was wrong. Jessica was 8 years younger than me, but with each meeting we had, I was drawn to her more and more. These meetings went on for weeks, and every Saturday I found an excuse to stay with Jessica. We would spend hours together, laughing, talking, and eventually ending up in each other's arms. It was like a secret escape from the routine of my life, and it thrilled me. I felt alive in a way I hadn't felt in years, but at the same time, a growing sense of guilt gnawed at me. One day, I came home early and saw Emily curled up on the couch with a book. She looked so peaceful, her face illuminated by the warm light of the lamp. Guilt came over me like a tidal wave. I looked at her and wondered what I was doing. Why did I need this neighbor? Emily had done nothing but love and support me, and I was betraying her trust. I realized I was risking everything I had: my marriage, my stability, my sense of self, for something that couldn't last. The excitement I felt with Jessica suddenly seemed shallow compared to the depth of what I felt with Emily. The next day, I had an appointment to meet Jessica at her apartment. As I approached her door, my heart felt heavy. I couldn't enjoy the atmosphere this time, the cozy apartment, her bright smile, the way she greeted me. It was all overshadowed by the weight of what I had to do. We sat down at the table, and I could see the anticipation in her eyes, but realized I couldn't go on like this. We talked things over, and I told her we had to stop seeing each other. She looked crushed, her eyes filled with tears, and for a moment I almost flinched. But deep down, I knew I had to make a choice, not just for Emily, but for myself. I couldn't keep living a double life, torn between two worlds. Jessica was silent for a while, and then nodded, her voice barely above a whisper, when she said she understood.